but even for us, any kind of permanent hardcore exertion for even a short period of time, like what they've been doing, will really increase your heart rate, and they are essentially fighting for their lives at the end of the day. So these little breaks that we're seeing are normal and completely understandable. VM, can you copy me? Anybody in final control, are you there? VM, any feedback on when these animals started fighting from the Zumi or anything? Okay, great. So VM says it was over an hour ago that these hippos started fighting, so that's useful information for us just to get an understanding of exactly what they are going through. The one on the right's really huffing and puffing. How will this end, folks? It's just impossible to tell. We can assume that one of them will be victorious potentially, but how victorious is hard to tell. Will he chase one completely out of this dam, or will they just retreat to opposite ends of the dam once they've established who's the boss initially? However, at the end of the day, they aren't going to tolerate one another going forward, so at some time in the near future, only one of them will be here. And won't it be an incredible thing to witness? Oh, look at that. Another great display. Well, things do appear to be cooling off slightly here, but we certainly won't be going anywhere just yet, because I'm fairly convinced that they do still have more business to be done here, and simply once they have regained enough energy, I'm sure there will be some more action for us. A lot of fighting in nature is psychological, so between these bouts that we do see, a lot of their behavior will impact greatly psychologically on their opponents, as it would for humans. So now we're just experiencing a bit of the psychological warfare, which makes up a component of the fight we're seeing, but there certainly is also the physical side that we did experience a little bit earlier, and I think we will continue to experience as this morning unfolds. What a bizarre show of strength. Paddling your feces from side to side with your tail, but that's how they do it in the hippo community. So that individual that we did see paddling his feces from side to side could well be the dominant one at this stage, but at least he is assuming dominance by doing that. Is this the next round opening up here? It's been a few minutes since they last engaged. Oh! The family of geese are not sure what to do because they don't want to attack their chicks anywhere into the water, so they're just kind of lurking in the fringes like this. They had just swam out a few meters and then the hippos started getting excited, so they all came back into shore as quickly as they could. Still doing very well, this family of Egyptian geese, all 7 goslings still there. So they've done a great job, these parents, at raising all 7. It's been just over 2 weeks now, I think, that we've watched them for. But they aren't having as peaceful a morning as they are used to here at Gowrie Dam. Copy, thanks, Liam. All good. We parked just below the waterhole camera, folks, so I believe the zoom is zoomed in on us and not on the hippos fighting. Okay, will this drive the one individual over the edge? There we go. There we have it. Things are heating up again here. But for now, it still seems quite relaxed relative to how worked up they were earlier, but they can obviously build up. Incredible, folks. And it seems like the individual that has been flapping its tail is showing signs of more strength over the other individual, pushing it towards us. I'm sure they are just so tired from all of this fighting. And that's why we are seeing quite a lethargic battle, you could call it. I'm not sure if you can hear, but there's a huge amount of flatulating going on between the two of them. Which is quite interesting audio to hear in the middle of a serious fight like this. Wow, this is looking good because they're getting into shallower water, and when they do get into shallower water, their power becomes increased, and they can cause more damage to one another, certainly. And that is how I think this battle will be completed, is by one of them managing to get another individual into the shallows and then causing some potential damage when they are in the shallower waters where they can move quicker. Oh, we've got a question through from Cindy. Good morning, Cindy. Cindy in Arizona. Welcome on board. Welcome to the hippo fight this morning. Now, Sandy has asked whether hippos only fight in the water or if they also fight on land. In my personal history of viewing hippos fighting, it has always been in water. But that's not to say that they cannot fight on land or won't fight on land. In certain areas, especially areas where water sources will be drying out and huge competition will be put on bulls to fight for their own little territories as rivers dry out. In situations like that, we can expect to see hippos fighting on land due to the fact that there's a lack of water. And like I say, once they do get into the shallows or do chase, one of them does gain dominance over the other one and starts to chase it out of the dam, the fight could continue onto land. So I think it often starts in water, but may end up on land, as the one individual may chase the other completely out of the watery area, be it a river or a dam, a pool in a river or a dam like this. So, good question, Cindy. I think the majority of it is done in water as a general rule, because that is what they're fighting over, and thereafter, potentially, once one has gained dominance, it may continue the fight onto land a little bit. And I have seen footage of hippos chasing one another on land and fighting on land to a small degree. What's that, Vim? Vim, go ahead with that message again, please. Okay, so there's confirmation from Vim that he's actually seen hippos fighting in Botswana on the banks of a river, so not in the water itself. So it does depend on the situation, Cindy. But good question, and thanks for putting that through. We've got some more of this very interesting display that we've seen of them spraying their feces from side to side with their tail, almost like a paddle. Now the Egyptian geese are attempting a crossing. This might be worth capturing, because we'll see what happens if these hippos get excited again. This is the first time they have attempted the crossing. And look at how closely the chicks are all together, with the parents on either side, making sure none of them get left behind. And this good parenting has led to all 7 goslings still being raised successfully to this day. And I'm sure that was quite nerve-wracking since we've been with these Egyptian geese. Look at how excited the chicks are to be across. Awesome! Well, as you can see from the behavior of those little goslings, they were certainly excited to be on the other side of the dam after. And that is these hippos are still creating a bit of a scene here. And Brian is going to give you guys an idea of what exactly the waterhole camera looks like and where the nest is in relation to it. So there you can see the bird's nest, and you can hear the chicks within the nest. There's almost a permanent chitter and chatter from little chicks in that nest. And there's a red-billed buffalo weaver, one of the adults, taking some time out. So to the zoomies, yes, there is a bird's nest, and I hope that shot Brian just gave you gives you a good idea of where exactly it is in relation to the camera. Sadly, I don't think the camera can get up to film that area, and they've obviously just been hearing the birds and not being able to get the camera onto it. Now, I'm not a hippo, but when that happens, it must really make the hippo who's not doing it feel inferior. And that's why what we think is the slightly more dominant one keeps doing that, ruffling its feces with its tail like that. And there's only evidently one of them that's doing it, which is interesting. So, wagging that better. That's more typical of their behavior. And you can probably hear the hippo, something quite big yet, just busy dispatching it, as we can see, making sure it's dead. Looks like it could have been a dragonfly.
Negative.
Yeah. Interesting. So, dragonflies for breakfast? Why not? Oh, okay. Bit of a marinade. Dragonfly marinated in dam water. Irresistible. So let's watch it though. It doesn't seem to have swallowed it yet, and it may just be making sure it's dead. Oh, there we go. Now it's gone. Obviously just wanted that marinade to soak in for a while before consuming it. And let's see what it catches next. They are really cool to watch, and it's going to be difficult for Brian when it does do a longer chase. They do move incredibly quickly. We're trying to balance up showing the wagtail hunting, which is entertaining, and all the hippos fighting. And because the hippos have been a lot of all talk, no action in between barts, we are just going to wait for them to engage before panning across to them. Brian. Now you saw how quickly the one individual managed to force the other one in one direction, and he really did have the upper hand, but it did turn at one point, and now the individual that was getting taught a lesson has evidently pulled back a few notches. But what we have is certainly seen as an increase in intensity. Incredible. The problem is that you get tired, understandably, and now, even after that very intense battle, they need a small break now, it appears, to regain their breath and their strength. To get that behind. No, it's beautiful. We both saw the time, Brian to capture on video, and then to capture the camera of the heron that we've been watching feed. Doing a beautiful flight over the hippos' heads and into this dead tree overhanging the dam. They're incredibly pretty birds, though, friends. Okay, one seems to be getting comfortable. The heron stopped feeding and perched itself here. Evidently can't calm down. There's one doing a little bit of a territorial display again here that you can see. But it certainly does appear to be less intense than it was before. But folks, yeah, please do follow on the Djuma Waterhole camera between drives, as anything is possible. But with these two, but for some reason I feel they are going to start getting tired, need some time apart from one another, some time to relax. And this afternoon again. Well, there's just a few minutes to go, so I'd just like to say on behalf of myself and Brian, thank you very, very much for tuning in this morning and for joining us with this interesting hippo interaction that we've been very, very fortunate to see. I must reiterate how lucky we are to have seen the interaction we have between the hippo. In all the years that I've been out here, I haven't seen many hippo fights, and this has certainly been the most intense and the best. See them come out the water on 2 occasions, and that amongst grey heron hunting and the little buzzlings making it across to the other side of the dam closely. The hippo have been the star of the show this morning, and we will keep monitoring them closely. Like I said, the waterhole camera will be on them for the course of the day, and by the time the afternoon comes, we will have updates on any further fighting that would have happened here, and then we'll decide whether to come back or leave them alone or go look elsewhere for some other animals. There's a lot of exploring to do, I feel, for myself at least. I haven't been out nearly as I would like to, so it would be nice to explore Djuma and Arathusa and see what we haven't been, cover some areas where we haven't been for the last few days. But thank you very, very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a unique morning, and from myself and Brian, we will be leaving you. Last few minutes of images of Gowrie Dam on the hippo. They have been stars of the show, so we will finish on them. Until this afternoon, have a good day.